When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at Jewel International, Gordon D. Melville.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here, Boomer. Thank you to my amazing production people. Thank you for my producer. I love you all. You're with the Long Bearded Guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. And today our topic is a story worth sharing. And we're going to talk about that in some depth today. But I want, for my prayer warriors that are out there, my two friends, one's still in the hospital, probably will be now for maybe as much as 3 months. So that's a ways heavy. And the other friend is on suicide watch, actually, because of some very, very serious cancer and some situations there. So if you can pray for them both, I would really, really appreciate that. And I know they appreciate that too. And I also appreciate all the folks that are reaching out. I've been so humbled by the number of people that have reached out and asked questions and made comments and likes and loves and shares. And that's, I want that engagement. That's the whole point of this, is to have engagement. So thank you so much to everybody for that. So real quick, let's get after it. How many of you have a story? Show of hands. How many of you have a story? Come on, get your hand up. If you don't have your hand up, that's I always sort of look at it and go, bullshit. Part of my French, we all have a story. Yes, Kim, you have a story. Boomer has a story. I know he does. I've heard some of it. And I have a story. We all have a story. But do you share it? Have you shared your story? Why or why not? What stops you? Have you shared it? Have you put it out there? Why would we even want to do that? What would be the point of that? A lot of times we want to hold our stories in amongst ourselves. We want to hold it close to the vest. Why? Because we don't want people to judge us. We don't want people to know, or they're going to look at me different. But anyway, we're going to get deep into that today. So I'm excited for you to find us and find me and the other hosts and Inspired Choices Network, and now on Apple TV and Google TV. Really excited about that because it opens up more than 50 million subscribers to us. We were already on both of those platforms, but now we're on with the Inspired Choices Network app. So if you have a smart TV, and as they told me, if I said, how do I know I've got a smart TV? And I'm not, as you all know, I'm not techie. So it was an interesting thing. They said, do you have Netflix? And I said, yes. And they said, great, you have a smart TV. I'm like, excellent. So for those of you that are in my boat, not too sure about tech, you can go on your TV, Apple TV, Google TV, and find the Inspired Choices Network logo and watch me or watch any of the hosts on your regular TV. So we're really excited about that. Please like this, love this, share it, subscribe to it's a free subscription to download Inspired Choices Network, where you can carry us all around. You can podcast while you're on your run, on your way to work, at the gym, wherever you happen to be doing your thing today or any day. You can pull it down on any day. And I do my show on Fridays at noon, but you can listen to even my shows. You can pull them down, listen to them during the week. So I encourage you to do that. Catch up. If you haven't heard the rest of them and some of this resonates with you, go back and look at the rest of them, listen to the rest of them. All right. So what's meant by your story? What do we mean when we say, hey, do you have a story? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but some people go, no, I don't know. I don't have that tragic thing. Or some people do have lots of tragedy. Does it need to be sad or tragic? Do we all have stuff that we battle with and demons we fight with and situations? Because good and bad happens to everybody. I heard Chuck Swindoll, and I don't know if he's the originator of that, but I heard him say, life's only 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. And so, it's about the response. It's about how do I good things and bad things are all over the place. And so we all have stories. We all have stuff that we've been through. And certainly once you get into your 40s and 50s and later, you've got massive amounts of stories. Now, the question is, and I was talking to somebody yesterday who said they didn't think that had any value. Oh, it's just my story. It's just my sad story, or it's just my stuff. So it doesn't mean anything. It's not important. It's just my stuff. Nobody wants to hear that. And number one, that's not true. And number two, it's interesting how we discount our own stuff. I worked in the automobile retail industry for a long time, and one of my bosses, I guess, one of the gentlemen that owned a dealership that I was helping to run, was an ex NHLer. So he would talk about players that I'd only ever seen on TV, but he had pet names for them, because they were just part of his story. But he discounts it because it was just buddies that he played hockey with. We only see them on TV. My cousin was the captain of the Edmonton Oilers for a decade. At their wedding, all these superstars were there. We only ever saw them. We look up to these people, and we want to emulate their success. We want to, and we play in hockey on the street hockey, and we put on a jersey and we're Gretzky, or we're Lemieux, or we're Sidney Crosby, or we're whoever, and we look up to that. But that's part of their story. That was part of his story. Doesn't have to be tragic. People go, I don't have anything really that's sad. I've had a good life. Perfect. Share that. A colleague of mine, really, really, really good friend, one of my best friends, and I co-own a franchise in Waterloo, where we live here, called Mo Mondays. And it's about sharing. It's storytelling. It's so we would get the heavy stuff. We'd get the PTSD and the depression and suicide and schizophrenia and all these heavy things. But we would also get some anecdotal stuff about people's pets and their kids and their vacations and fun stuff, right? So you get a good balance of heavy and light. The thing is, all of those stories, whether they were heavy duty or whether they were light, all had value. They all had worth. Why? Because they're your story. Your story, our story, my story, your stories all have value and worth. What prevents us from sharing? Are you afraid? We've talked about it a bunch. Fear is a construct of our mind. It's not real. Now, it stops a lot of people from stepping into their empowerment, for sure. Why? Because they're afraid what's people going to think of me? If I tell them I have this kind of a challenge or that kind of a challenge, or I've been through this or I've been through that, will they look at me different? Will they judge me? Will they treat me different? Will I lose friends? Will I lose a career or a job because of something that has happened in the past? Sometimes we don't want to share that. The value of the story. What's the value of your story? Why would you want to share it? There's lots of reasons you'd want to share it, by the way, both for you and for other people. We've all heard it said, and I've mentioned it before, life's not happening to us, it's happening for us. But I think it's happening for us to specifically and uniquely equip each of us to be able to help other people get through what we went through. I'm going to say that again because it's important. Life's happening for us to uniquely equip us, specifically to help other people get through what we went through. When we get in dark places, we're praying, please, please, please. I need help. I need hope. I need a miracle. I need something. Please help me. At Mondays, I would challenge people. Hey, how many of you have a story? And almost no hands went up. And I would okay, that's not right. You all have a story. Whether you want to share it from stage or not is a completely different deal. But we all have a story. And then I would ask why. Why do you not share? And nobody wanted to answer. I'm like, come on, we all know what the answer is. We all know why people don't share. Just shout it out. Oh, I'm afraid. Fear. Great. Fear is not real. So I would challenge them, and I challenge you. Maybe I should wait that to the call to action. Maybe I'm telescoping? My call to action. I'm going to challenge you, though. I want you to be able to step into that, share stuff. get used to being able to tell people. And it's not that you're airing all your dirty laundry all over the place. That's not the deal. But when we get into that place and we're praying for a miracle, if you can't step through your own fear and share your story, that will absolutely connect to people. It absolutely, there's no way you will not be able to, foreshadowing. Absolutely. Thanks, Kim. Those things are bits and pieces that will help somebody else. You sharing it. Matter of fact, you may not give them the tools to get past and through what they've got, but the fact that you got through it means they can get through it, and that gives them hope. And it's powerful, powerful. Hope is powerful, and people need to hear that. They need to hear that they're not the only ones. When we get into space like that, we get these blinders where we go, I'm the only one that deals with this. I'm the only one that deals with this. No one else has to deal with this kind of situation. Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. And yet we put it out there and go, oh, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm afraid. Fear stops so much from happening. So many good things from us being able to achieve and thrive and live abundantly. Fear stops so much. And in the end, it really doesn't matter. In the end, all that fear really goes away. It dissipates because it's smoke and mirrors. It's not real. 99.999% of the stuff never ever happens that we worry about, that we're afraid of. And in another segment, I'll share just a real quick snippet of my story so that you understand, hey, you know what? There's lots of us have story. When you start to talk to people and really connect with people, you find out very quickly, you know what? There's a lot of people that have lots of struggle, lots of battle that you never know about. You know, people slap on a smile and out they go. And if you don't pay attention, if you're not really connected, you can miss. You can miss. And most people, and I saw that, and I think I put that as a meme up this week, people don't fake being sick typically. They fake being well. They put on a smile, and even though they're struggling, and even though there's stuff going on, heavy stuff, things happening around them, they put a smile on and show up, and then they put this tough face forward because that's what they think they have to do. Meet the expectation of the people around them. I challenge you, don't do that. You be you. Unabashedly, unashamedly, 100% authentically you. And let the chips fall where they may. And the people that go away are, you know what? They weren't part of your tribe. And the weirdest thing happens, you start to attract people that are at your vibration and that appreciate the fact that you're being real and raw and honest and transparent and vulnerable. I challenge you to do that. All right. As we go to this first break, I want a couple different things. I want you to remember to pause and breathe. I'm going to do the same thing through the break, right? Pause and breathe, pause and breathe. Why? We're grounding ourselves. We're getting ourselves into a space. We're allowing the information to flow into us and out of us, and we're oxygenating our mind and our body and our organs and all the bits and pieces of ourselves. You ever want to get some focus, extra focus, because you're lethargic or sleepy or what? Stop and do some breath work. And what I would recommend is an inhale for just 2 beats. And then you hold it for 8 to 10. And then you exhale as hard as you can, making lots of noise. Spit your blow out as hard as you can out your mouth. You inhale through your nose, you hold it for 8 to 10 inside your body, and then you blow it as hard as you can out for 4 beats. So you're inhaling for half as long as you're blowing out. That takes all the stale air out of you. It also, holding that oxygen in you, allows that oxygen to get around your brain and to get around your organs and super oxygenate you, which gives you you'll find yourself more focused, more grounded, and more alert. I've been drinking mud water, and they're not a sponsor, but they should be. is a good, something that's good in place of coffee. It's like a chai coffee. It's really, really good, but it's got some stuff in it that helps with focus. And anyway, so breathe through this break. Two quick shout outs. One is to my good brother, Jose Escobar. He's the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about the morning and evening routine mastery program that's changing people's lives. And it absolutely is really important piece. The program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Incredible. You want to supercharge your day. You want to supercharge your week. You want to achieve more. Talk to Jose, set up a free strategy session today, and he'll help you and show you how that works. The other quick shout out is to Kat Schwarz, and she's one of my founding sponsor partners. She is the founder and CEO of a groundbreaking company called Compassionate Healing Services and offers a completely unique approach to treating physical and mental health challenges. Check her out on Instagram at Compassionate Healing Services, or email her at info@compassionatehealingservices.com. Thank you so much to all of my founding sponsor partners, including Mr. Jeff May. And if you really want, you're local in Ontario, anywhere, and you're looking for investment advice, insurance advice, you're looking just to sort out all your stuff and pull it all together and make sure that it's in the right place, reach out to Jeff. Incredible human being, integrity, ethics, but a really, 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 really nice guy. Incredible. Was a colleague for a while, and I love him. He's amazing. Love you, Jeff. Anyway, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll see you on the other side. You're within the long bearded guy. That's Gordon D. Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. See you in a minute.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. So the next piece we want to talk about just real quick here is, are there benefits to the sharer as well as the sharee or the audience? Sometimes we think of it, well, if I share my story, is that helpful to them? Is that helpful to me? Is there any benefit to help myself as well as sharing it? What are there benefits in either direction? And there are in both directions, very significant ones, actually. When you share, and we talked about that in the last segment a little bit, when we share, we put it out there, right? When we share, we're giving people hope. When we share, we're showing them our authentic self. We're being transparent and vulnerable with them. We're showing them our heart. And that connects and bonds people to each other. It connects us. So when we share, it helps other people. The oddest thing happens typically that helps ourselves. And what do I mean by that? It by me sharing, by us sharing, by you sharing your story, especially the hardest parts of it, what that does is it's empowering and healing for us. Sharing our story helps heal us. And I know that sounds a little weird, but the more we share it, the less power it has. The more we share it, doesn't mean we forget it. It doesn't mean it goes away. We take all the positive lessons from it. We take all the good stuff from it. But sharing our story, sharing about bits and pieces, especially if it's on the heavy side. If we're sharing light, fun stuff about the kids or vacation or pets or whatever, that's good too. Why? It's encouraging, and people love to laugh and to joke and connect on those things because they can appreciate that, right? We all have, or not all of us, lots of us have children. So we get some of those things that we look at and go, oh, I heard a comedian last night say, the babies, when they're little toddlers, 2 years oldish, 2, 3 years old, they sleep a little bit through the day. When daddy comes home, they're all just charged up. Oh, daddy's home. Look. And daddy opens the door. He's exhausted from working all day. And he opens the door and this toddler stand there just vibrating. Oh, daddy's home. We get to play. Right. So to a point where sometimes we pull in the driveway and we make eye contact with the child. And we're like, oh, I don't know if I have that in us. And we may not do it all the time, but I'll guarantee you, if you're a dad and you've had toddlers, at one point you'll have backed out of that driveway at least once when you saw that vibration, because you just didn't, oh, I can't deal with that at the moment. I can't deal with it. And so, but we all understand that, the fun stuff about that. Why is it fun and funny? It's humorous because we can identify with that. When we share a story, we connect to each other. We identify with those stories. Humor usually is funny because it's got a grain of truth in it that we all can identify with. It's something that we all kind of understand. If we've had pets that have I talk a lot about control being illusion. If you have pets or children, you know very well control is an illusion. Well, and we joke and we laugh. Why? Because we all have had that experience. We've all had the experience where, the cat got out, the dog got out, or we get everything together, and it's so much with new baby, and we're trying to get everything ready, and we think we have control, right? We get all these bags, and as we leave the house, your kid craps himself, and it's one of the big ones. If you're a parent, you understand, or you've ever seen or experienced. And it does not just a little thing in a diaper, it goes right up their back, and you have to literally take them out of all their clothes and bath them from head to toe, and you can't leave because you got to do this before you can't walk out. You can't leave the house that way. But we all, if you've had children, you understand that. If you've had pets, you understand that. If you've had a bad boss or a great boss, we can all identify that. So sharing our story connects us. It really does, deeply connects us. And we realize very quickly, I'm not the only one experiencing some of this. I'm not the only one that deals with that. Oh, look, other people have dealt with that. And so it connects us. And I want to just share my story, just a little bit of it real quick, just a portion of it, because I want people to understand what I'm talking about in terms of healing, in terms of a connection, in terms of being able to talk to each other and understand, hey, you know what? We all go through things. And there's 2 quick timelines that run for me. One of them is a 30 years of Energizer Bunny, 300 miles an hour with my hair on fire, teaching self-care, but not doing any self-care, which I think is a common theme for a lot of people. That knowing doing gap, especially in that area, is prevalent. And I think it's very common. But in late 2015, my body said, hey, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. If you're not going to listen to me and you're not going to pay attention, you're not going to do any self-care, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I was bedridden for the better part of 2 years. And anytime I tried to get up and move and operate and be myself, I would sleep for days at a time because it just exhausted me. Our ensuite's 20 feet from the bed, and I would fall down 2 or 3 times trying to get to the bathroom. My body was just done. So I would slide it onto the floor from bed and just crawl to the bathroom because I just didn't have any energy. The thing is, when you take an Energizer Bunny and squish them into a space where they can't move, it gets dark in a hurry. And so I was gifted a suicide attempt in the middle of all that. And I say that way because Papa gave me that experience to give me perspective that I needed to be able to achieve what he wanted me to get done in my life, and for him and for society and for people around me. I needed perspective. I needed to understand, what does deep depression look like? What does suicide look like? What does mental awareness look like? Because I really wasn't paying attention to that, not for myself anyway. And so, that's opened a whole bunch of doors for me. That's given me connection to what my purpose and my worth and my value is. Even if I do an expanded version of that story, it's given me a whole bunch of things that I would never been able to do, and wouldn't have I'd be able to identify with if I hadn't experienced that. So I look back at that was a gift. Again, life's not happening to me, it's happening for me, to specifically and uniquely equip me to help other people get through what I got through. Now, when somebody says to me, I'm depressed or I'm suicidal, I understand that. I have empathy because I've been there. I get it. I understand. The other timeline for me was to be gifted working with and connecting to Grant Cardone early in my, and if you know who he is, great. If you don't know who he is, he's a multi-billionaire now. He wasn't then, but he was a teacher and in the automotive industry. And so he taught me, and I used his information and his theologies and his concepts to help myself. And then I went and helped market him and do in-house training and that type of thing. Was gifted. That was wonderful to be gifted that, because a combination of that and being connected to thought leaders like Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and John Maxwell and Les Brown and Tony Robbins and all these, they put me on a path. It put me on a personal development path that has spanned more than 3 decades now. That put me in a space where, I'm certified Tony Robbins Madonnas, that's Chloe Madonnas and Tony, in a half a dozen disciplines. And then I'm certified NLP, I'm certified to teach Napoleon Hill. But all those things culminated, all those 2 timelines come together. And then because of the mental awareness and because of the personal development and because of the experience and being willing to share my story and step into that, and Boomer will understand. Well, at the time, I was looking after money for people. I couldn't out myself at the time because no one's giving their money to a suicidal guy, right? So what are the people going to think of me? Are they going to judge me? Are they going to look at me different? Are they going to interact with me, and are they going to think less of me somehow because this is the experience I had? And I think lots of times we do that. We think, you know what, I'm the only one that has dealt with that, and I'm not. And it's shocking to me. It has been very shocking to me, the extent of the numbers of people that have been through some of the things even in small ways that are similar, that they identify with. And so we identify with each other. We connect to each other. And the strong support that has been around us is something we need. And Jeff was a big part of that at the time in my life, massive support at the time. And I don't know if I've ever shared that with him, but he was a huge encouragement to me. And I am eternally thankful for that. But we all have those people around us that will step in, that will step up for us and support and encourage when we need it. And being able to do that for other people. A lot of us like to be the giver, not the givee. We want to be able to give the support. A lot of us struggle to receive the support. Something Austin Haynes talks about is, and I heard him do that, and I was like, you know what? That resonates with me. Someone gives us a compliment or someone's trying to help us and whatnot, and we say thank you, but we don't take it in because I'm not worthy of that. My value is thank you. I say that to be polite, but I'm not really taking that in. And so when the compliment comes, when things come, I receive that. And thank you. Allow it to come in. At the time I was learning to allow that to come in. and it literally helped save my life. The support around me, even though they didn't know, even without sharing at the time. Those are the people that matter in our life. When we're at the mountaintop, there's people around us that want to sort of plug in. You know what? That's great. And that's wonderful. The people that show up when you need them most, when you're in a valley and you're really hurting and you're really struggling, the people that still show up for you, even though it's hard, and even though they're not sure what to say, and even though they just want to be around you and be able to hold you and hug you, that are there when things are tough and hard. Pay attention to those people, because they're the ones that matter. Those are your tribe. Those are people that really give a shit about you. Pardon my French, but you understand what I'm saying. I hope you feel my heart, because those are the people that you want to stick with and appreciate. Really, really, really. Thank you so much. All right, quick, we need to pay some more bills, but again, real quick shout outs. Jose Escobar, founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. And if I remember correctly, I believe the fee for that goes up after today. So there's a membership fee. If you get a hold of Jose, if it's something that you're interested in, and I'm a member there. It's an incredible group of people, several hundred people so far. It'll get to 1,000 inside of its first year. It's unbelievable group of entrepreneurs, high level entrepreneurs. And so set up a virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today. You can reach him at www.theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. Do that today if you want to get into that group at the ridiculously low price. So I encourage you to do that. Don't forget to pause and breathe through this commercial break. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey, everybody. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate that. So we were talking in the last segment. I was sharing my little bit of my story and a little bit of it's helping. I'm sharing my story to be able to help other people. I'm sharing my story to help heal me. I've shared it in multiple books. It's in that book, Spiritual Fitness Survivor, the very first edition. I wrote it in a sharing book. I wrote it on an online magazine. I've spoken it multiple times from stage, but the point is sharing it. Point is getting it out there. The point is being honest and open and real about what your story is. Really, truly. Is there shame with that? I think sometimes we feel that we're going to be judged, or that there's shame or embarrassment in saying, hey, you know what, I struggle. I tell my sons, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Asking for help is a sign of strength. Say that again. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. We need to be able to be confident enough in ourselves and be surrounded by the right people that we can ask for help. We're not islands. Nobody ever achieved ridiculous success by themselves, ever. Nobody. Anybody that you can name had help. Anybody you can name had help. And whether they asked for it or not. And lots of people will ask for help. And they should. We should ask for help. I want to just touch. So that's kind of the bits and pieces of, yes, share the story. Yes, be confident. Yes, be courageous enough to step up. You'll get the opposite reaction you think you will. I was petrified I was going to get judged and shamed and embarrassed, and people were going to look at me different and push back. And I got the complete opposite, 180 degrees from that. I got outpouring of love and support and encouragement, and people that came and went, you know what? Sorry you went through that. It doesn't surprise us based on your high performance mentality that you've had your whole life. And so being able to share that, it lets the burden off. It's something we carry around that we don't need to carry around. And it's helpful to do. A quick story I talk about with and I've heard people say, our mess becomes our message. Right? Our mess, the all this hard stuff we're thinking about, all this hard stuff we're going through, that mess, again, typically becomes our message, which is just another way to say it's happening for me to specifically and uniquely equip me to help other people. Right? But I have to be willing to share it. I have to be courageous enough to go, you know what? I'm going to share what my story is. I'm going to put it out there. And that's we can't control anything beyond what we think and what we do. So by putting it out there, I can't control how people are going to respond to that. And that's not up to me. That's up to them. If they respond well, great. If they don't respond well, great. That's on them. That's their challenges, not my challenge. And so being able to put it out there, courageously put it out there, and then let the chips fall where they may, is being 100% authentically you. And the right people will surround you. So I want to encourage you with that. I talk about an acorn a lot. Little acorn, we all know what that is. If I put that acorn on the driveway, it's going to get some light and some rain. So it will maybe pop open and sprout a little bit, but it'll never, ever reach its potential. Why? Because of its circumstance, where it's sitting. If I take that same acorn and put it in a planter, I'll get a little more, but again, it will never reach its potential. Why? Because of its circumstance, because of where it's been placed. But if I take that acorn and put it in fertile soil, what do you think the acorn's thinking, by the way? You put it in the ground, it's like, what the heck's going on? You're burying it, right? You're burying it. And it's looking around going, what is going on? The weird part is all the nutrients it needs, that acorn needs to grow, are in that dirt. And interestingly enough, for nature, that acorn will only pull out of the ground the nutrients it needs in the quantities it needs to become an oak tree. It won't pull anything else out, and it won't pull more than it needs out. But it shoots up and becomes an oak tree. When that acorn pops out of the ground, little bitty shoot, and he looks around, or she looks around, they're like, whoa, there's a willow tree. I love willow trees. I want to be a willow tree. I'm going to be a willow tree. Does it have latitude to be able to do that? No, it's going to be an oak tree. It's an acorn. It can't change that. And the nutrients it's pulling up are turning it into an oak tree. Interestingly enough, as humans, the challenges that we have in our life, our stories, the things that we battle with, are the dirt we need. Why? Because those challenges hold the nutrients we need to grow. There's a native saying that says, they tried to bury me. They didn't realize I was a seed, which really resonates with me. And I hope it resonates with you. What they're saying is they were trying to be mean to me by burying me. What they didn't realize was that's where I needed to be to expand. It's not about having Bruce Lee had talked about, don't wish for an easier life. Wish you were stronger, wish to be better, grow, intentionally grow so that life gets easier. And then you have more challenges. If you're not having challenges in your life, you're not pushing hard enough. If you're not challenged, you're not pushing, your life is easier. There's no challenges, or there's nothing, you don't have to battle with anything. You're probably also not pushing. You're probably not intentionally growing. As soon as you intentionally try and grow and expand and scale, you'll have new challenges you've never had before. Why? Because you've never been at that level before. If you're scaling and in your life, doesn't have to be in your business necessarily. In your life, if you're scaling and expanding and growing and intentionally wanting to have a more thriving, abundant life, you're going to run into new challenges. Don't push them away. Understand what they are. Understand, hey, you know what? Bring them on. Why? Because it's going to make me better. I'm going to grow in those spaces. That holds those challenges. We don't typically grow on a mountaintop. We don't need anybody on a mountaintop. We sit there, look where I am. Look where I am. I'm right. Where do we need help? In the valley. In the valley, we grow. Why? Because we're challenged. Because we have to. Or we just sort of look at it and go, you know what? And I lose my mind. People say it is what it is. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be. You have the power to change that. You have the power to grow. That little acorn has to be an oak tree. No latitude to be anything else. He can't be a willow. She can't be a willow tree. But we can reinvent ourselves every day if we want to. We've been gifted the power and the ability, moment to moment to moment, day to day to day, month to month, year to year. We can completely reinvent ourselves multiple times. We've been given that power and that gift. And lots of people go, no, it is what it is. I can't change my stars. I can't change what is. These are my cards. I just have to do that. That's crap. It's absolutely unequivocally not true. Go get it. It's there. You have the power. And if you don't know how, go find someone that can help you. I talk about getting a coach. Have a coach. Find somebody, a mentor, find somebody that can help you get to that next level and help you expand and grow. That's how we thrive. That's how we become abundant. We grow, we expand, we intentionally put ourselves out there that way. Stick around because we're going to talk about call to action when I come back. And we're gonna explore that a little bit. So yeah, stick with me. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. See you in a minute.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Long Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with. Appreciate it. This is the fourth segment is a call to action. And what are we looking for? So what am I going to challenge you to do? Anybody paying attention to the other segments? You'll have a little bit of an inkling. What I'm going to challenge you to do is share your story someplace. Write it, speak it, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, put it someplace. Share your story. Do a Facebook Live where you share it. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out. It doesn't have to be something that you share deepest, darkest secrets. Start with something that's not so deep, dark, if that's what you want. Share something about your family, about your adventure, about your journey. Share something. Share yourself. And you'll find the more you do that, the easier it gets. And then let me know that you did that. Reach out, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Tell me, show me, send me a link to whatever it was that you put out. Whether it was a piece that you wrote, it was a piece that you shared in a clip, it was a Facebook Live, whatever it is, wherever you shared, send it to me. Include me in that or tag me in it so that I can see and share and celebrate that with you. Because it's something that if we can do that, if we can share those experiences, if we can share that love, it's encouraging for people. It's helpful to others. It's helpful to us. So I encourage you to do that. I'm going to be on this coming week. I'm going to be in Maryland and sharing at actually it's a Connected Leaders Academy pop-up event in Maryland. So I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to be there with them. If you want tickets or want more information, reach out to me, ask. I'll share it with you. Would love to see you there. And then if there's topics you want to hear, by all means, send me an email and let me know. If there's something there's a topic that you go, hey, can you talk about this, or can you expand on this, or is there something that you want to hear about? Please reach out and ask, because I'd love to do that. I want this to be engaging. I want it to be impactful, and I want it to be something that's helpful to people. It's got to be engaging, but it's got to be helpful. So I want to be able to do that. So if there's a topic you want to hear about, by all means, let me know. There is going to be a the Long Bearded Guy Facebook group coming soon. It's in the works, almost ready, but it's coming. So be patient, stay tuned, and it'll come. Next week on Friday, that is the 30th, September 30th. I will be on at 12 noon. Eastern Standard Time, between 12 and 1 with show. And next week is called Doctorate Morsels from HKU. Doctorate Morsels from HKU. What's HKU? Hard Knocks University. Lots of us have been through Hard Knocks University. So that's what a lot of us have doctorates and PhDs in from that particular school. So tune in for that. It will be absolutely amazing. It's essentially what's happened. I've taken questions that people have asked. People have reached out and said, hey, what about this? What about this? I've had lots of people asking questions. So I took questions that I thought would be something that everybody would like to know about, or would be helpful for everybody. And I answered those questions. So, hey, Jackie. So those are there. Come and check that out. There's half a dozen questions there that you'll have that I have answers to. So again, we're talking today, a story worth sharing. Your story is worth sharing. Don't not share your story. Step into that empowerment. Share that story. Share it. It will help you. It will help them. It will give you confidence, and it will give them things they need. People will take out, when we talked to Mo Monday stuff, we talked about, as a motivational type guy, inspirational type guy, you'd hear us say, well, and lots of people do that. They go, hey, if you take one thing from what I'm saying today, take this. And on Mondays, we were telling people, hey, don't do that. And the first time I shared, I tried to make sure, I said, if you take one thing, take this. And someone came up, that leadership there came up to me after and said, when you're sharing it on Mondays, don't do that. Share your story. This is what happened. This is whether it was a good thing, a bad thing, a fun thing, a not fun thing, whatever. Share your story. This is what I learned from that. First person. This is what I learned. And this is where I am now. And then just let them take their own thing out of. And the first time I did that, this lady came up to me and goes, I got this and this and this out of what you said. Thank you so much. I needed that. And part of me was like, where the hell did you get that from what I said? Because that wasn't, people will take what they need from what you say. They will extract what they needed from what you shared, whether it's what you learned or not. It's something that they learned. And that's what makes it powerful. You learned something. They maybe learned something completely different from what you learned. Incredible that our story will do that. And it's impactful for people. I challenge you, share your story. There's benefits to both sides of that equation, for you and for them. It's healing for you. If you can share your story, I think that's the final stage of healing for people. If I can share my story with other people, that's the final stage of healing for me. It begins that process of healing for me. Why? Because I'm willing to share it. It doesn't hold, and the more I share it, the less power it has. The more I share it, the less power it has. There's no judgment attached. Not even for myself judging myself. There isn't. And the more I share it, the less judgment there is. And other people don't judge. And it really connects me to people. Shocking how tight it brings me to people. And people come out of the woodwork. Hey, Gord, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being courageous enough to share and willing to share. That's something that's that personal. Because it tells people, hey, I'm not by myself. We talked about that. There's benefits. My story, it's sharing our story. Life is not to us. It's for us, to allow us and to equip us specifically and uniquely to be able to help other people get through what we got through. Keep that in mind. When you're sharing, you're helping other people. You're helping yourself for sure, but you're helping other people. Our mess becomes our message. Remember the acorn story. Embrace the challenges in our life. That's where the nutrients are that we need to grow, that will help us grow. Embrace that. We will absolutely look forward to seeing you again next week. And you know what, like I said, please like it, love it, share it, subscribe to Inspired Choices Network if you're not already. It's a free download. Find it on your smart TV. Wildly excited about that. Thank you to my sponsors, all of them, my founding sponsor partners. This is such a huge deal, and it's made such a monster huge impact on me. And it seems to be making an impression on people around me and people around the world. So thank you for that. Really, really thank you for that. Don't forget to do your homework. Tell your story someplace. Write it, share it, Facebook, whatever it is, share it, please. And then share it with me. Make it another great week. I love you. Massive hugs. Live abundantly with intention, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Love you. Big hugs. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D. Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs.